Hey everybody, Drilling in the Name of here, and today I find myself back behind my very own Abyss bar, though things are obviously looking a little bit different today. That's because I have been playing the shit out of Peak, the co-op climbing game from Aggro Crab and Landfall Games. And while it may not have dwarves or zip lines or glyphids, it does have scouts, cable launchers, and bugs. I've been completely hooked since I bought the game a few weeks ago, and it was during one of my climbs that I had the idea to do a cocktail series based around Peak. Now there's so many things to draw inspiration from throughout all the environments, but it would feel wrong to start anywhere but the campfire. These serve as a respite between biomes, give the team a morale boost, and best of all, there's always a marshmallow for everyone to roast. So for today's Peak-inspired cocktail, we're going to be making a Campfire PEAKhattan. The Manhattan is a truly all-time classic and beautifully simplistic cocktail consisting of just whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters. But if we really want to feel like we're sitting around a campfire while sipping our PEAKhattans, we're going to need some smoke. Now the easy way out would be to just use a smoky peated scotch for our whiskey, but as we all know, nothing comes easy up here on the Peak. So for the campfire aspect of our drink, we're actually going to be smoking something. Cold smoking, to be more specific. This is a technique where you smoke something without cooking it, and although it's always wise to cook your consumables up here on the Peak, the something that we're smoking is sweet vermouth. To be even more specific, the sweet vermouth we'll be smoking is called Carpano Antica, which is widely regarded as one of the best vermouths in the world. It's rich, complex, slightly bitter, and has a strong note of vanilla, which will be important later on. And although unfortunately it is on the pricey side, you should be able to find one of these little half bottles for between $15 and $20. Now obviously I can't smoke anything down here in the Abyss bar, so I'll have to survive the climb upstairs to my backyard. I didn't want to get too bogged down with this setup, so I'll put a link in the description to the video that I used to create this really cheap and easy cold smoker. As you can see, I have a little wood chip burrito here to create the smoke, I have my Carpano here, and I have that in a larger pan with some ice because it is a little warm out today, and as we mentioned, we don't want to be cooking our Carpano, we just want to smoke it. And to create that smoke, we're going to light our wood chip burrito on fire. And now we add our lid. It doesn't hurt to periodically and carefully lift the lid to give it a taste and see where it's at. Quick side note, it's a good thing I did a taste test because I actually hadn't done this in a while and I wasn't really getting the smoky flavor that I was going for. So I swapped out the deeper pan for a more shallow pie dish for a little more exposure and surface area. After an hour or so, carefully remove your Carpano from the smoker and transfer it back to its bottle. Now if you're able to really get some smoke into this vermouth, you'll understand why I chose this one specifically. Now I actually can't take credit for this because a friend of mine figured this out years ago when we worked together, but if you smoke Carpano Antica, it really starts tasting like a roasted marshmallow, probably because of that vanilla note I mentioned earlier. Now that we have our campfire vermouth, let's talk whiskey. While Manhattans are traditionally made with rye whiskey, I think bourbon will go a little better with the rest of our ingredients, and I'll be using good old 1792 small batch bourbon. This is a really solid bourbon for the price and should only set you back about $25. But just using plain old whiskey would be kind of boring, so I want to infuse it with something. Thankfully I picked this up on the way here, so we're going to be making trail mix infused bourbon. Now usually when you infuse something, you want to chop it up or break it up in some way, but I don't really have anything to... Perfect. I actually might have punched a hole in it. Hang on. Now normally I would put this trail mix in a mason jar with the whiskey and let it sit for about a week or so, but as we all know, time is the true enemy up here on the Peak. That's why I've been lugging this thing around since the shore. This is called an ultrasonic cleaner, and it's typically used to clean things like coins or jewelry or even car parts. It uses ultrasonic sound waves to create cavitation bubbles in a water bath, which knock the gunk off of whatever you're trying to clean. But some people who are smarter than I have figured out that you can use this to rapidly infuse ingredients. It also has a heating element, so while I don't want it getting so hot that I boil off the alcohol, I do want it to cook a little for that extra stamina. So I'm just going to pour my bourbon directly into my bag of trail mix. Seal it off in the water bath. And run it for 30 minutes at 50 degrees Celsius. Oh yeah, it also sounds insane. Now that that's done, we just have to strain. It was looking a little muddy, so I did pass it through an unbleached coffee filter as well. Alright, now that we have our ultrasonically infused trail mix bourbon, it's time to start building our PEAKhattan. Now you may have sat at a bar at some point and wondered why the bartender was stirring some drinks and shaking others. The most simple and binary way to distill it down is you generally want to stir drinks that are all alcohol, such as a Manhattan or a Negroni or a gin martini, and shake drinks that have a citrus or dairy or foaming component, like a margarita, a gimlet, or a gin fizz. Stirring gives you a clearer, smoother cocktail with a richer mouthfeel due to less dilution of the ice. And obviously our Campfire PEAKhattan is all alcohol, so I'm going to grab my mixing glass, stir spoon, and jigger. And if you don't have any of these things, a pint glass, a chopstick, and a tablespoon will work in their place, with a tablespoon being equal to half an ounce of liquid. So I'll start by adding 2 ounces of my trail mix bourbon. Pro tip, don't pour from a mason jar. These suck to pour from. 1 ounce of cold smoked Carpano Antica. And lastly, we need some Angostura bitters. Now these big boys can be a little expensive, but they make little guys as well, and they're poured by the dash, so they do go a long way. So I'll add a few dashes of that, and all that's left to do is stir. Unfortunately, I am extremely hungry, and I'm not sure that I have the stamina to do that. Oh, crispberry. Wait, are you supposed to eat the green ones or the red ones? Oh, red means stop, green means go. Duh. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, shit, now I really don't have it in me to stir this drink. I'm gonna have to cross my fingers and hope there's something in this luggage that can help me. Oh, hell yeah! It's a magnetic stirrer! These are usually used in labs to stir solutions, but I can use this to stir my Campfire PEAKhattan for me. Gonna drop the magnet in, add a little bit of ice, and turn this bad boy on. If you're doing this manually at home, keep your hand on the mixing glass and stir until it starts feeling pretty cold, which should take about 30 seconds. Alright, that's feeling nice and chilled. I'm going to strain this into a martini glass. Lastly, we just need a garnish, and what would a Campfire PEAKhattan be without a marshmallow? This makes for a really fun twist on the Manhattan. You get an interesting combo of chocolate, nuts, and dried fruit from the trail mix bourbon, and it plays really nicely with the toasted marshmallow vermouth. If you made it all the way up to the peak with me, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to do more peak-inspired cocktails, so if that's something you'd like to see, please leave a comment and share this video with your scout friends. If you end up making one of these for yourself, please share it with me. You can find me over on Twitter at drillingitno, and I'd love to see your creations. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy this very well-earned Campfire PEAKhattan. What the hell? Oh right, alcohol is literally poison.